For this lesson in IXL, you're going to work in section C.2 and work until you get a SMART score of 60. Section C.2 is on angle measures. So you will be given an angle. We can see that here in black. And it'll be, a protractor will be on top of it. And you'll find the angle measure. So if you remember in class when we did this, we always start at 0 and count until we get to the other ray. So I don't want to look at the angle measure here because it's either 0 or 180. And that angle is not 0 degrees and it's not a straight angle, so it's not 180. So I start at 0 and I count until I get to the other ray. And so you can actually do that by counting by 5s or 10s, but most protractors go by 10s, and then the like longer lines in between the 10s are 5s. So if I look all the way over here, it's at 150, or it's past 150, and it's not quite to 160, it's in between, so it's at 155. And the other hint to me that it's at 155 instead of it's between also the 20 and the 30, and it's not 25, is how big that angle is. It's an obtuse angle, so I know it's 155 instead of that 25. So that one's 155. This one, we're going to start over here and go this way because the 0 is right here. So again, it's going to be an obtuse angle because if we look, here's that 90-degree point and it goes past that 90-degree point. So I'm going to start at the 0. I'm going to, and so because the 0 is on the bottom now, we're looking at these bottom numbers. So if we look, they go by 10s also, and then we would just use the 5s in between. We would go up in between here, so we'll see that when we get over here. So as I follow these, 10, 20, 30, so on, there's 90, 100, 110. It's between 110 and 125, or 120. So it's 115. It's on that 5 spot. 115 there. So here, this is a very small angle. It's an acute angle. So we know we're not going to call it 170 degrees. We're going to start at 0. And we can just say, look up, and it's at the 10. So it's 10 degrees. So again, right here, start at 0. We'll go until we get to that other ray. It's at 110. Again, start at 0. Go till you get to the other ray, and it's at 20. Okay, so now you're going to get into some measurements that look different. So we never measured like this in class. We would always turn our protractor so one of those 2 rays was at one of the 0 points. This is just a different way of using the protractor, and it's totally fine to do. It's just different than what you've done. But I don't think you're going to find it any harder. So what's happening is this ray here starts at 70, and this ray is at 30. So we could subtract those two, 130 minus 70. But if you don't want to get out a calculator and you want to count, you could just count by 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So the difference between these two, or the amount in between, the number of degrees in between, is 60 degrees. Go back down here. So let's look at that again. This ray is at 90. That ray is at 120. I could take 120 minus 90, which is 30. So that's a 30-degree angle. Or I could just count 10, 20, 30. Now, you might look at this and say, oh, that's a 90-degree angle. And it does look really close to a 90-degree angle, but look at it starts up at the 5. So it's really an 85-degree angle. So instead of 0 to 90, it's 5 to 90. So we're subtracting that 5 off. But again, you could just count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. And so that, I just did 8 problems. I didn't get any of them wrong. I got to a SMART score of 60. So again, it's just a little bit different the way some of these are being measured, a little bit different than what we did in class. But if you're counting by 5s or 10s, I don't think you'll find it very hard.